field that are not today to start the game are Chloe Brown and Monique Hanike. So we'll see what they can do today. Caroline Hester, another starter that's the third girl that I was looking for. Not getting the start tonight as the rain has seemingly picked up, and I'm amazed it has because it has not rained this bad in the Columbus area since I moved back out here again at the start of in September of 2014. So about 14 months since it's rained this bad here. And I did go to school in Columbus for 4 years, and I also don't remember it raining this bad ever then. So might be the worst rain this area's gotten in half a decade. Nonetheless, we've got a soccer game to play. Capital moving from left to right. They're in their white uniforms. Lots of shivering legs out there already for both teams. It's going to be a cold, ugly night and an ugly win for either team if they can escape. I guess if you're John Carroll, you're happy that these conditions are here because it kind of levels your playing field, so to say. Claire Quinn will bring the action up the field as the Crusaders get going early in this one. Pass towards the middle of the field, controlled this time by Claire Quinn. Passed all the way to the sideline by John Carroll, whether clear it out of bounds. Now, a lot at stake tonight for the Crusaders, as I kind of went over the playoff scenarios in our last broadcast. It might not have been the most clear description of the scenarios, but I've got a pretty clear one here today. So, to clinch a first-round bye, should have already mentioned that the Crusaders clinched a playoff spot in the OAC tournament already this season with their win on Wednesday against Marietta. Kicked into the box by John Carroll, and that one goes wide of the net. Leach does a nice job of smothering that post, and she'll send it back into play momentarily. So going through the playoff scenarios now, if Capital wins this game, they are guaranteed a first-round bye, which is a top 2 seed in the conference. If they tie this game, they could also still clinch with an Otterbein loss or tie. And if they lose today, if Otterbein also loses, they still clinch a first-round bye. So lots of scenarios in which they can get a first-round bye, and it looks like they might be able to do that today with the way the schedule aligns for them. They really just need to get a tie and hope Otterbein doesn't win. That would be the safest scenario. Actually, just an Otterbein loss would probably be the safest scenario. And if they win, it just takes care of everything easily. Now, if they also win, they can lock up a first seed and clinch the regular season title with Ohio Northern losing tonight. They would have a 6-point edge in Ohio Northern, and even if they ended up tied, they'd have the tiebreaker over Ohio Northern due to the head-to-head. And they technically would share the championship, but the number 1 seed would go to the Crusaders, and the OAC tournament would go through Bexley, Ohio. So that's what's at stake tonight. We're also going to keep an eye on the men's match today, as they are on the road at John Carroll tonight. And the men currently in 3rd place on their side, with John Carroll in 2nd place, just 2 points off the pace of Ohio Northern and John Carroll. Both of those teams at 5-1. Capital's at 4-1-1 with 13 points. They're already tied with Heidelberg at 13 points, but Heidelberg already played today. So even if Capital loses, they're guaranteed at least a tie for 3rd at the end of the night. They'll have 2 games next week, one against Baldwin Wallace, who's won 5-1 this year, and another against Heidelberg, who they're tied with. And that will make the next match against Heidelberg on Wednesday a huge match. It looks like a freaking hurricane outside. 41-44 left to go. And this is just insane weather that they're playing in right now. I don't know how any team is going to score. But the goalies are also just playing in this rain. It's kind of just, we could see a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game. I'm not really sure how the weather is going to affect this game, but it should be an ugly one either way. John Carroll just outside the box right now, trying to send one on net, and maybe just send as many towards the net as you can and hope that the rain helps you out. Molly Zool trying to find a pass here to Katie O'Donnell. This is just some bad weather. I'm going to continue to say it. I've never seen rain this bad. And we've got a soccer game to play. Got a window in front of me that I'm kind of opening and closing as we go because it's just so bad outside. I can hear some other windows closing in the press box next to me. This is insane. John Carroll has possession again. As the rain continues to fall, Capital really hasn't sustained any kind of possession here yet. Austin sending it towards the net. Coming out of the net to kind of play that is Guanara, and she scoops it up. Bouncing around midfield up that far sideline, and it looks like the Crusaders will get the ball here. Keeping an eye again on our standings as scoreboard watching is certainly in the cards tonight, with both the men and women trying to lock up some seeding in the tournament. We talked about the men being at worst tied for third. Looking at the standings, they have a 4-point edge on Mount Union right now, as John Carroll went into the box and it was kicked away at the last second there by Caitlin Selsberger. A great play to deny John Carroll an opportunity. I'll finish my point after this sequence here. Played in by Bailey Fisher now, and it goes out of bounds, and a goal kick coming, which will be taken by Claire Quinn. So the men have a 4-point advantage on 7th place right now in the OAC, which means as another shot goes towards Leach, as it was miskicked on the clearance of the goal kick. Shot on net there by Preston Mendel. And Leach will roll it up the field this time instead. Richards and Tolner work it to get up the field. If the men win tonight against John Carroll, not only will they move into a top 2 spot in the conference, but they'll clinch a spot in the OAC tournament. So good luck to the men tonight as well, and hopefully the weather out in the Cleveland area is much better than it is here in the Columbus area. And taking a look at the schedule on the women's side, Otterbein is hosting Baldwin Wallace tonight over in Westerville, and I can't imagine the weather is much better there than it is here. And probably a rainy game underway there. Kicked forward by John Carroll, who has looked like the better team to this point. They have 2 shots, one of which has come on goal. Meanwhile, Capital has yet to register a shot. Into the box again. John Carroll trying to get a lead, and Claire Quinn steps in front. And it's going to be a corner kick. Good job to deny a shot opportunity. So taking the corner kick is going to be, looks like number 8, Dre Regroot. Standing right next to her is Danielle Sharbaugh. If they choose not to clear it into the box here, it looks like they're not going to. They do go for it, actually. Regroot sends it in. It hits off of a John Carroll player, hit off of Dana Roman, and goes out of bounds for a goal kick. Players to watch on this John Carroll team. Bailey Fisher leads the way with 4 goals. Preston Mendel has 2. And the only other players with goals, they've got a slew of players actually with 1 goal. Justina Fortson, Daniel Sharbaugh, Andrea Regroot, Katie O'Donnell, Lexi Keller, Abby Piccolo, Molly Zool, Maria Ploplis, and Taylor Tersek all have a goal. But only 2 with multiple goals. Again, Preston Mendel with 2 and Bailey Fisher with 4. For the Crusaders, Cartmill leading the way with 9 goals. Chloe Brown has 3, Hanaik has 6, Bushy 4, Vandeventer 3, Quinn, Fortino, Kraus, and Richards each have 2. Connor Buchanan and Mervo each have 1. Thrown into the box. Good job clearing that away by senior Megan Tolner. And I'm going to emphasize the seniors here tonight, as it is senior night, the last regular season home game here at Bernlor. It looks like they'll get to play at Bernlor at least one more time in the OSC tournament with the way the standings have lined up. Crusaders still trying to get this thing out of their zone. 35-40 left to go in the first half. Still no score. In terms of the OAC schedule, the games are the same on the men's and women's side, so keep the matchups the same. Just switch who's the home team if you're interested in the men's side. But the women today, Heidelberg and Marietta face off, John Carroll and Capital, Ohio Northern and Muskingum, Mount Union and Wilmington, and Baldwin Wallace and Otterbein. There is one final on the women's side, as Heidelberg knocked off Marietta today 3-0. With that win, Heidelberg moves into the top 6 in the conference, but Wilmington and John Carroll can catch them with a win today. On the men's side, there has been 3 finals. One, a tie between Baldwin Wallace and Otterbein. A second tie between Heidelberg and Marietta, and Mount Union defeated Wilmington 2-1. And all those teams behind Capital in the standings, which means they have some major ground to gain today if they win that game. If not, it doesn't hurt them, and they'll be okay for next week. It's kind of a win-win, no pressure for the men tonight. Keep an eye on the score of that game as the night progresses. 34-15 left to go, as it's punted away by the John Carroll keep, Rihanna Guanara. Capital pushing it up the field. Cartmill gets it down the field to Morgan Austin with a long dribble now. Austin looking to set up a cross, it looks like. Austin crosses it off of a John Carroll defender. It's going to set up a corner kick for the Crusaders. Waiting for the corner. Claire Quinn to send it in. Here's the kick. Out swing towards the middle of the box. Keep went for a punch and missed it. Cartmill recovers it. Kicks it off of a John Carroll player. Mariah Richards keeps it in play, and now kicked off of a John Carroll player. A throw in coming. Wind is picking up in the area as well. It's the rain kind of just being tossed around in the lights. Sent towards the box. Cartmill gets a touch on it. I don't know if she hit it, because if she got a touch on it, I think she would have put it in the back of the net. But instead, it's a save made on the pass into the box after that throw-in. Three shots for John Carroll, one for Cap still. Might be updating, and we might have another shot to tack on. 32-18. You can follow along with the live statistics at athletics.capital.edu. You can select your sport from the drop-down menu to women's soccer. Go to the schedule and click on live stats. Or if you go to the home page, at the bottom of the page, you'll find a calendar with all the events today. You can click on the live stat link from there. Might be indicated with an LS button, obviously standing for live stats. 32 minutes to go. The rain has certainly slowed down in terms of how much is coming down, but still very rainy. John Carroll with a chance. Shot goes off the crossbar, off of Leach, and into the back of the net. And John Carroll opens the scoring. 1-0 Blue Streaks lead. Worth mentioning that John Carroll knocked off Baldwin Wallace. Excuse me, they tied Baldwin Wallace in their last game. The goal was scored by Mendel, number 13, her third of the season. Mentioned as one of the players to watch. Her and Bailey Fisher, the two leading scorers in terms of goal production. Again, the Blue Streaks struggling in conference play. They have just 7 points in 6 games. But they had a huge win their last time, or a huge tie, I should say, their last time out. Tying Baldwin Wallace, who was 3-1-1 at the time of that game. And it kind of put them right back in the thick of things here. Nice cross by Quinn, and the kick goes wide off of a John Carroll defender as Cap was trying to get it right back. John Carroll started conference play 0-3, and since then have knocked off Heidelberg and Marietta and tied Baldwin Wallace. They still have Cap, Mountain Union, and Muskingum left to go. That Mountain Union John Carroll game is going to be massive in terms of which team can sneak into one of those last 2 spots in the conference. And I think they would win that Muskingum game as well. Quinn tipping it towards the goal. It's headed away by a defender, still down on the ground, and now kicked out of the way by John Carroll. It looked like a defender from John Carroll tried to pick the ball up off the ground. That's what some people are mentioning here in the press box, and I saw a similar thing. The defender literally bent over like she was going to pick the ball up, like she was the goalkeeper. And instead, it was kicked away by her teammate. Very strange sequence there. Obviously, if she picks that ball up, it's a penalty kick. I don't know why you would even have the impulsive decision to pick that one up. Like, what reflex would that be that is causing you to think that you need to pick the ball up there? But it doesn't happen, and John Carroll kicks it away to safety. Now a battle for it in the middle third of the field. And the Crusaders punch it up the field now off of Mirveau. Toner tried to knock it down. Richards does, and that senior finds another senior to Fortino, using a pass from Cartmill over to Quinn now. Quinn chugging down the field. Quinn goes down in the box, and probably going to see a lot of players slide around the field today. So the rain is finally letting up a little bit. .48-45 left to go in the first half, and the Crusaders find themselves trailing on a goal scored by Mendel. They are trailing 1-0. 28-38 to go. Here's Mary Bushy, still nursing that right hamstring injury, but playing at her outside back position, which she usually plays. They were happy with the results from Wednesday. They had her playing as a forward just to kind of test her legs out, as there's a lot more running involved being an outside back. Bushy had a handful of scoring opportunities and couldn't finish. Lots of saves made by 10, the goalkeeper from Marietta, who leads the conference in saves. Faces a lot of shots, and she had a season high in saves with 18. Bushy, I believe, hit the post on one of her shots as well and missed a couple wide. She played about 50 to 60 minutes in that game, and the hamstring held up. And more importantly, she came out in the middle of the first half and then came back onto the field in the second half, kind of restarting that muscle after sitting down on the bench for 30 minutes. That would be my biggest concern, if she can come back after not using it for a while. And she was just fine. She still has a brace on the hamstring, but she looks close to 100% out there, and that's good news for the Crusaders that her hamstring injury was not more serious. It does linger still, so there is some concern, but I think overall you have to be pretty happy with where she stands in terms of her injury. Tolner moving it up the field now. Passed by Mirveau. Back Tolner got intercepted and kicked out of bounds by John Carroll. 27 minutes left to go in the half. Crusaders trying to tie this thing up. Thanks for tuning in to today's matchup. If you were with us earlier for the football game, not a good result for the Crusaders. They lost that one 48-0. And the women's team trying to get some revenge for the football game that happened on this field earlier today. John Carroll ranked on the football side of things. They have a big matchup with Mount Union coming in 2 weeks. If they don't win that game, it's very possible they actually won't be in the top 2 in conference, as Ohio Northern knocked them off earlier this season on the football side. And Ohio Northern close to receiving, they did receive votes, close to being ranked in the top 25 as well in the OAC. So a good year overall for the conference as they're making a bid to get 2 or 3 teams in the NCAA tournament, which will be held at the end of November. Tolner stepping in front here. Nice play. Now gets a seal. 4-on-3 the other way. Here come the Crusaders. Passing to the box to Cartmill. Able to run it down. She's in the end zone now. Sends one at goal, and it's a goal for Becca Cartmill. Tie ball game just like that. Beautiful feed from Megan Tolner. Cartmill runs it down, and she's been working on that kick with her off foot. And she puts one in the back of the net for the Crusaders. Tied up at 1, Becca Cartmill with her 11th goal of the season. Excuse me, number 10 for Cartmill on the season. We'll see if they give Tolner an assist. I don't think they will because of all the dribbling from Cartmill. But we'll see how liberal they were. Most importantly, it's a tie ball game. 1 apiece. And the crowd back into it. Nice shot by Becca Cartmill. No assist, and I think that's the right call there. Goal number 10 on the year for Becca Cartmill, making a run at OAC Player of the Year. Again, Ben from Baldwin Wallace and Kelsey Malenik, probably the favorite from Mount Union. Kind of a 3-person race, and Cartmill trying to turn it into a 2-man race, but Malenik, with 2 goals on Wednesday, leads the conference in goals and points, and is up in the top 5 in assists as well, something Cartmill is not. But Cartmill has the advantage of having the team being undefeated right now, and if the Crusaders lock up first place and Mount Union finds themselves outside the tournament, that might play to Cartmill's favor. But either way, she's going to be a first team All OAC, absolutely. Cartmill ties things up here. You can take a look at the scoreboard while we have a down moment here. It's actually sent in the box quickly and now sent away by John Carroll. Ohio Northern is out to a quick lead on Muskingum on the women's side of things. They lead 3-0, which means that locking up that first seed in the tournament and clinching the OAC regular season title. Doesn't look like tonight is going to be the night for that. Cartmill playing it back to Claire Quinn. Morgan Austin running up the field, and it's kicked out of bounds by the Blue Streaks. So we'll have to wait on clinching the conference probably until next week. If they win on Tuesday against Heidelberg, they will clinch. And assuming they win today as well, which might be getting a little bit too ahead of myself, as it is still just a 1-1 game here. Can still lock up a first-round bye with a win or some help against Otterbein tonight, as we will be rooting hard for Baldwin Wallace. It's a really big game between Baldwin Wallace and Otterbein, as that's the 3rd place Cardinals against the 4th place Yellow Jackets. 12 points for Otterbein, 11 for Baldwin Wallace. So the winner there going to be the 3 seed likely in the OAC tournament. Pass into the box. Cartmill has another look at it. Left-footed shot, and it goes just to the left of the post. It goes out of bounds for a goal kick. Cartmill wanted number 2 on the day. Headed by Tolner, now played along by the Crusaders to Emily Kraus. Kraus sends it back to Semberger. Working it up the field to Cartmill now in the midfield area around the 40-yard line. Cartmill pacing to Fortino now. Nice opportunity here. Austin in the box, and that's going to be a corner kick. Midway through the first half, 1-1 is your score. Cartmill, the goal scorer for the Crusaders. Mendel, the goal scorer for the Blue Streaks. And the Crusaders will try to score off in this corner kick. The only girl back right now is Mary Bushy, as Richards is kind of a target on these corner kicks. Let's see if they go to her. Actually play it short now to Semmelsberger, who tried to either shoot or send it towards the front of the goal. It went behind the goal, though, and that opportunity goes by the wayside. Powerful kick up the field. Claire Quinn headers it down. Austin headers it over to her teammate now, Semmelsberger. Played back to Quinn. Pushed along to Richards, and Richards will restart the action up the left side of the field now to Kraus. Plays it back. Nice move by Richards to Fortino. Back to Richards. Richards inside the 20. Nice move again. Mariah Richards making a deep run. Falls over. The double team gets the steal. And the Blue Streaks get it going the other way. No numbers whatsoever. Fortino does a nice job of knocking that down. I think they call it handball, and Fortino can't believe it. Played forward by the Blue Streaks off the free kick. Nearing the box, Austin will send it away towards the Capitol bench, and Cartmills are going to be able to keep it in play, actually. Cartmill up the field to Kraus. Missed her, and it's going to go all the way back into John Carroll territory. They try to play it up to the midfield. They got knocked down by Crusader. Still struggling now, and the Blue Streaks might have found some real estate finally. Trying to send a pass upfield, and it rolls all the way to Kim Leach. Leach sends it back into play. Under 20 minutes to go in the first half. Blue Streaks still can't get it into the box. They started off this game looking like the better team, but the Crusaders have kind of settled in since that Cartmill goal. Shots are pretty much even at 4-3 right now in favor of the Blue Streaks. Nice defense there. That's Bushy showing that the hamstring is just fine as she comes flying in for a collision. Cartmill on a run up the field, puts it on her left foot. It got knocked away from her at the last second. And the Blue Streaks send it away to safety. Austin with a kick. Over to Richards now. And Cartmill has certainly had her opportunities today. Has finished one. Just nearly finished another. And then almost beat a triple team that time. Monique Hanike is getting ready to check in. And I would assume she's going to replace Kraus, as she usually does start and Kraus usually does not. Headed up the field. Claire Quinn. Playing it down to Bushy, I believe. That is Bushy. Blue Streaks working in a triangle. Send it up the field on a lob through ball. That's going to go all the way to Leach. Leach has played the most games in net now for the Crusaders with 10 over Brand, who has 8, and Klotch has 3. Lyle has played just 9 minutes in net. For Leach, she leads the team with a 1.28 goals against average, as Klotch does not have enough minutes in net to qualify. 21 saves for Leach and a 5-1 record, actually. Crusaders currently 10-4 on the season, 6-0 in conference play. Blue Streaks have it into the Crusader territory. Set a pass into the box, and Richards sends it away. Rolls all the way up the field to Kraus, who took some contact there, but no whistle. Officials certainly letting him play. Monique Knight checking in for the Crusaders, as well as number 21 for John Carroll, Maria Ploplet. Cross does come off, and Daniel Sharbaugh comes off for the Blue Streaks. 17 minutes left to go in the first half, still tied up at 1 apiece. Cartmill passes it forward, and the Blue Streaks will kick it away. Guinera gets in there. Ohio Northern now leading 4-0. Still no score in the other two games. Wilmington, Mount Union, and Otterbein and Baldwin Wallace on the women's side. Into the box for the Crusaders. Fortino goes down hard. And there's going to be a corner kick, and Coach Ogden calling out number 4, whatever that play is, in the corner. For the men, Ohio Northern leading Muskingum 2-0. That one's in action on the men's side. Ohio Northern currently in first place in the men's side of things, and looks like they're going to keep their 6-1 lead. I think that's the second time Ogden has called play forward, and really hasn't worked either time, as the ball wasn't even collected and settled down by the Crusaders until the 25-yard line, and he might rip that one out of the playbook after tonight. 15:40 left to go. Still scoreless, still tied 1-1. Ohio Northern leading Muskingum on the men's side. Looks like they're going to move to 6-1. Which leaves just that John Carroll and Capital game to be settled. Taking a look at the live stats for John Carroll, and looks like they're not actually active yet. So we are not sure what the status is of that Crusaders game on the road at John Carroll, but if we do get updates, we will pass those along. John Carroll has it into the zone. Taking a look at the Cap Men's Soccer Twitter account at Cap Men's Soccer. It looks like it is raining in the John Carroll area as well. And there's been no updates from their Twitter account, so I would assume that it is 0-0. Now this is interesting, looking at the Twitter page. From an hour ago, it says that the men's team bus caught on fire 1.5 miles from the stadium. Apparently everyone is safe, and they had to walk the rest of the way to the stadium from 1.5 miles away from John Carroll's stadium. So that's interesting. And I'm sure that is not something that the Crusaders planned on, and hopefully they get a new bus out there by the end of the game, but apparently their bus broke down and was on fire, which is interesting because the Twitter account for the men's soccer team shows some fire emojis next to their starting 11 saying that they're bringing the fire from the bus as the bus caught on fire. So they're taking it in stride at least. Chloe Brown getting ready to check in for the Crusaders. As we'll keep an eye on that. And you can check out the Capital Men's Soccer page if you're interested at Men's Soccer on Twitter. Of course, follow the Crusaders at Camp Crusaders for updates on all of Crusaders athletics. Austin to Cartmill. Goes right back to Austin. Curled towards the box, and it missed tonight. Holner trying to run it down, as is Bushy. Bushy keeps it in play. She might send a cross back this way. She tried to, and it goes out of bounds for a corner. And Chloe Brown, who's bopping around, looks like she's cold already, and she's going to be replacing, looks like, Allison Mervaux. So Brown's in. So we'll keep an eye on that men's soccer situation. Crazy that the team bus catches on fire. Corner kick coming, and it is cleared away by John Carroll. And originally, it's on the ground again, and now Hanike sent it towards the net. It got blocked and goes out of bounds, and another corner kick coming for Claire Quint. 12 minutes left to go in the half, still 1-1. Another corner that gets knocked down and off of John Carroll. They're going to kick another one. Kick towards the box, in swung, off the head of Hanike, and it's cleared away by John Carroll. Didn't get a lot of juice behind that header. Bushy sends it back forward, back towards the goal, sending it forward, I should say. And it goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Last time the Crusaders were on the road, they scored 6 first-half goals against Marietta. Talking about the men again. Hanike trying to get it to Chloe Brown. It's cleared away again. And the Crusaders keeping the pressure on here in the last 15. 10:50 left to go. Still tied up, but they're looking to get their first lead of the night. Here's Richards to Cartmill. Beautiful pass. Played over now towards Chloe Brown, and it goes out of bounds. And the rain has again picked up in the area. It was kind of a calmer rain earlier, but now it is pouring once again. Kicked forward by Bushy. Hanike collects it just outside the box. Dribbles towards the box. Tried to send a pass over. Brown comes up with a loose ball. Brown tries to kick it. It gets kicked away by John Carroll. And that one goes off of Chloe Brown for a goal kick. Good battle by Brown in the box there. More wind picking up in the area as Guadnera kicks it away. Stolen by the Crusaders. Inside the box, the Blue Streaks able to get it away from their own zone momentarily. And they'll play it to the near sideline here for Molly Zugger. Scratch that, that's Dre Regroot who had it. Regroot sent a pass to the captain, Daniel Sharbaugh, and it was stolen away. Sharbaugh, one of the captains with the yellow sleeve on her left arm. Trying to find some other captains out there in the field, but the visibility not at its best with the rain. Across midfield, the Crusaders trying to go the other way now and add a late goal here in the first half to take their first lead. Kicked up towards Shawbar again. Semmelsberger plays it up the field. At least it is not cold and rainy. It is chilly. It's about 60 degrees outside probably, maybe 50 now with the rain, but it is late October. It could be in the 40s all day and rainy, incredibly cruddy outside, but at least it is not that bad. Most players wearing shorts, kind of indicating that it is not bad. All girls are wearing shorts out there, actually. Cardinals pass to the box, not going to make it to Brown, and Guadnera collects it. More wind picked up by the mic as the window here is open. Semmelsberger plays it up the field, and it's kicked away again. Richards has it. She plays it over to Morgan Austin. Austin settles down. Pass to Cartmill. Good defense by Groot. Richards up the field. Cross midfield. Chloe Brown has it. Brown's got a streaking Cartmill. Trying to get it to Hanike instead. John Carroll player slipping on the surface, but is able to recover and send it up the field. The Crusaders will knock it out of bounds. Substitutions coming. Number 17, Maddie Fisher, comes on. She replaces number 2, Katie O'Donnell. So Fisher on, getting her first action of the day. 6 shots for the Crusaders. Now they lead in that department. But only one of the shots was on goal, and that was the goal scored by Cartmill. Cartmill gets another opportunity here, working one-on-one. Long dribble to the outside, onto her right foot, shoots, and it goes right at the goalkeeper, Guanera, who makes the save. For Guanera, that is her first save of the night, actually. Cartmill now with 5 of the 7 shots for the Crusaders. Not that we're surprised by that. Mike has the other 2, and again, not that we're surprised by that either. 3 shots, Preston Mendel the other way. Andrea Ray-Groot has the other shot, as it is now 7-4 in the shot advantage for the Crusaders. Chipped forward towards the box. It's just outside the box. Bounces into the box. A Knight gets a steal now. Cartmill with another shot. Field goal's good. And that'll bounce into the parking area behind the fence, behind the goal. That is the 6th shot of the game for Cartmill already. Coming into this one, she has 40 shots in 13 games, averaging over 3 a game, but smashing that today with 6 already in the first half. 6 minutes left to go, 5:50 to be exact. And the Crusaders have been putting the pressure on these last 10 minutes or so. Don't have anything to show for it yet, but they'll keep grinding away at it. Bushy towards the goal, and a diving stop by Guanera. Another sub waiting to come on is Justina Fortson from Kent, Ohio. Fortson, a sophomore. Crusaders are awarded the ball on a free kick with 5:14 left to go. Stolen by the Blue Streaks across midfield. Claire Quinn does a nice job of knocking down that pass. Goes over to Tumner, who plays it over to Fortino, who hasn't got a lot of touches today. Working with Hanaik now. Fortino with a spin move to free herself, and it's kicked away by the Blue Streaks. Headed right to Claire Quinn, though, before it goes out of bounds. Sharbaugh played it down to her teammate Mendel, who scored the goal today for the Blue Streaks. Played up to Sharbaugh, who gets to Bailey. Back to Sharbaugh now. Bailey Fisher, I should say, not Bailey. Bailey being her first name. Shot went towards Leach, and she skips it up easily. The new sub that just came on, Maddie Fisher, not related to Bailey Fisher. They're both freshmen. And Maddie Fisher spells hers without a C, F-I-S-H-E-R, whereas the leading goal scorer for the Blue Streaks, Bailey Fisher, spells it with a C in there, F-I-S-C-H-E-R. 3:44 left to go. Chloe Brown trying to get a steal just outside the box. She does. Plays it back to Bushy, and they try to set something up here. Bushy got past one defender. The other defender kicked it away for the Blue Streaks. Semmelsberger with a steal. Austin goes out of bounds. She takes a little bit of contact, too. Another sub coming on for John Carroll at the next dead ball will be Abby Piccolo. In the box for the against the Blue Streaks. Cartmill had it again, and the Blue Streaks kick it out of bounds. Throw in come. 3:02 left to go in the half. Austin throws it in off the foot of Hanaik and kicked out of bounds by the Blue Streaks again. They will just try to hang on here for these final 3 minutes. Take a tie ball game in the locker room. Little bit of a breakout there for the Blue Streaks. 2:32 left to go. Kicked up the field. Trying to get it over to Molly Zool, but it's stolen by Semmelsberger. And Austin clears it out of bounds. Here come those subs. 2:20 left to go. Time ticking away.
Into the game now for the Blue Streaks, number 11, Justina Fortson. And also number 26, Abby Coachella.
Here's Fortson, who just came into the game as a sub, sends it towards the goal. Leach scoops it up. It might have been deflected there by Richards. Blasted by Leach. Good punt. Off the foot of Quinn. Played it over towards Fortino. Got knocked around a little bit. Quinn gets it back now. Pushed up the field, trying to get it out in front of the scoring line, and it is going to go to the goalkeeper. 1:34 left to go. Still no update on the men's game from their Twitter account, so we will assume that no one has scored still. It's the Blue Streaks trying to score here with 1:15 left to go. They're on the Capital side of the field. In terms of the men's soccer schedule, that other game, Ohio Northern still lead 2-0 over Muskingum. Good defense here by Semmelsberger in the near corner. It's going to go off the Crusaders, though, with 1 minute remaining. 5-0 Ohio Northern leading Muskingum on the women's side. So that one is nearing half. Wilmington 1, Mount Union 0 as well on the women's side, which would be an upset. Wilmington has less points. They're 2-3-1. Mount Union is 3-3, so pretty evenly matched, but technically an upset if Wilmington wins that game in terms of the current standings. And that other game, Baldwin-Wallace and Otterbein still scoreless. Sure, it's a rainy day around the Ohio area, as if John Carroll's getting rain up there as well. Cleveland and Columbus and probably everything in between, all getting buried in rain. Header towards the goal there by Bushy, and an easy save for Guarnera. 10 seconds left. Guarnera will hang on to it as long as she can, punts it away, and that's going to be the end of the first half. 1-1, your goal scorers, Preston Mendel for the Blue Streaks, answered later by Becca Cartmill. We're all tied up at 1. We'll sum up the first half and come back with some scores and updates around the OAC as well. You're listening to Capital Women's Soccer on the Capital Sports Network. And welcome back to Burnlore Stadium, a tie ball game here at half, and we're just underway here in half number 2. John Carroll leading the charge here as they start off the second half, 1-1 between the Blue Streak and the Crusaders. Mike over to Chloe Brown, who starts off the half. Both of those players not starters in the first half, but will be here in the second. An early goal for the Blue Streaks got the scoring started here at Bexley, Ohio, and then a goal by Becca Cartmill tied us up. 1-1 where we stand. Crusaders trying to lock up a first-round bye with a win today. Claire Quinn sending a free kick towards the box. It's going to bounce through the box, and actually another free kick awarded for the Crusaders, this time from about 25 yards away from the goal. I'm assuming Cartmill will take this one. Actually, Claire Quinn is still going to take it. So here comes Claire Quinn to kick this thing probably towards the goal, I would assume, but she might try to cross it. Quinn awaiting whistle. Here she goes. Sends it on net. Into the back of the net! Claire Quinn, cold-blooded, gives the Crusaders an early lead. 2-1 as they strike 1 minute and 20 seconds in to half number 2, and the Crusaders have their first lead of the day. Quinn's third goal of the year, tying her for fourth on the team with 10 points. When you add in her 4 assists. That was an awesome kick from Claire. It is senior night, but we have 2 juniors with the 2 goals here today. Quinn and Cartmill. Crusaders now leading 2-1, and the narrative changes with each goal, and that's the game of soccer for you. We were talking about the Crusaders were losing an opportunity if they were going to lose this game when they gave up that first goal. And now, it was then tied, and still kind of worried about if they could get the win. They had that relentless rush at the end of the half there, the last 10 or 15 minutes spent in John Carroll's zone, but they couldn't get a goal. And Claire Quinn gets a free kick, kicks up the field, and then they get another free kick. Claire Quinn sends that one into the back of the net, beautifully over the hands of Guanara. And because of that, the Crusaders lead 2-1, and the narrative changes again to now trying to finish off this win and move to 7-0 in conference play. Scores across the OAC on the men's side. Ohio Northern still leads Muskingum 2-0. We have no updates from the men's game still, but logically would assume that the Twitter account for the Crusaders would update if they had scored or been scored on. So without live stats on the website, all we can rely on is the tweets, which have not come in. So we'll assume it is scoreless between the Blue Streaks and the Crusaders as well. On the men's side, that is. On the women's soccer side, 4 games in action. 6-0. Ohio Northern leads Muskingum at half. Wilmington still up 1-0 on Mountain Union, and Otterbein leads 1-0 over Baldwin Wallace. Claire Quinn will get another free kick now. Going to be tougher to score from this angle, and it's likely going to be a cross into the box. I think we had a yellow card issued. The official's trying to sort it out. Clock is still stopped at the 41:56 mark. Ohio Northern has, again, 6 goals. McKenna Walsh already has a hat trick. Shelby Stevens has scored. Mary Kate Munns and Sarah Puntel have also scored. For Otterbein, the team that was favored to win this conference, Allie Stone, the goal scorer. They were number 1 in the preseason coaches poll. Wilmington leads on a 1-0 goal scored by Hannah Greeny, 23rd minute. Otterbein Looks like they're going to keep their spot in third place if they can hang on to that win. Be right on the tail of Ohio Northern. Sent towards the goal, actually, by Quinn. It got knocked off the hands of Guarnera, and then Guarnera is able to smother it for a save. So she didn't go for the cross. She actually went for a second goal. Quinn now running this thing down and headering it up the field. Looks like she's been the best player on the field here in the half. Here's Hanike with it now. Hanike crosses it. Actually shot it right at Guarnera, and she'll catch it right in front of her stomach. Was just sitting there and waiting for that ball to curve to her. 10 shots for the Crusaders, 5 for John Carroll, as they've now doubled up in that department. And they've really taken control of this game now, which is not a good sign for John Carroll. Rain continuing to pour and hoping that it stops here. It's going to be a fun drive home for all of us here at Bernlohr. If you are not at the field watching this game on the live stream, be thankful you're not here, as pretty much everyone in the crowd has a gigantic umbrella in front of them, as it is cold and wet in Bexley tonight. Stop made by the keep there. I just noted the right leg brace there on the kicker. Guarnera might be coming off of an ACL injury. It's usually what that brace would indicate. Kicked away again. Now, one game being played in the Wilmington area, which is just outside of the Dayton area. I see a picture here on Twitter from Wright State area, which is near Wilmington. No rain over there, so maybe it is clearing up, as Dayton is west of here. Cartmill's kick goes through these uprights on this side of the field now. She's 2 for 2 in her field goal attempts. Kicked forward by Guarnera. And a free kick coming for the Blue Streaks now 30 yards up the field. Kicked onto the Crusaders side of the field, and it's headed away by Richards. The back line for the Crusaders has been rock solid here in the last couple of, I shouldn't say last couple, I'd say most of this game after the first couple of minutes. Good defense from the Crusaders to kick it away, and they got the ball on a free kick anyway. Can hear the rain falling again as it is picked back up. And picked up now in the last couple of seconds since I even said that. Cartmill has it. Sent towards the goal. Guarnera dives and makes a nice save. Checking out the weather radar now, just out of curiosity, really. The entire Columbus area is covered in green, and there is certainly some yellow in areas north of us. So luckily missing that stuff, but it is right on track to nail Westerville in about 10 minutes. And this is from 7:47, so 20 minutes ago. So I'm sure Westerville is getting some nasty rain right now. And Westerville, of course, the home of Otterbein University. And there's a soccer game being played there right now. And certainly not going to be ideal conditions there. Chip towards the box. Leach does a nice job of leaving the net to come up and take that one away. There is a really nasty red patch of rain as well coming through on the radar as Becca Cartmill gets the pass, sent it towards the goal. It's an offsides. Shot won't count, but Guerrero made the save for what it's worth. And again, this rain patch coming through the area, I think this is as worse as it's going to get for the next 10 minutes or so, and then it might clear up a little bit. That's the hope, at least. That's due to the weather radar that I'm checking right now. Crusaders get another steal. The rain not really affecting them right now. There's some really bad rain up in the Cleveland area. As a shot goes on goal, and it goes just wide of the goalkeeper Leach. That shot was taken by Bailey Fisher, the leading goal scorer for the Blue Streaks, and she streaked down the field there. Some defenders on her back, and she's able to at least come close to scoring. But yeah, just looking at this weather radar, Cleveland area getting nailed. The Columbus area also not in good shape. And the Crusaders getting another free kick here. Yeah, there's still one bad patch coming through Columbus right as we speak. And once that one goes away past us, it is clear to the west in that Dayton, Troy area. Springfield should get cleared up here in the next 20 minutes or so, and hopefully at the end of this contest, it should be completely out of the area. But it's going to be raining hard here for the next 20 minutes or so, according to the weather radar, which would leave 14 minutes on the clock, assuming that's when it clears up. And kind of just going to have to play through it. Both sides are playing with the conditions, so can't really complain either way. It's a level contest. Fortino trying to chip it towards goal off a pass by Bushy. It's a wild loose ball controlled by Richards. She's going to blast it towards Hanike. Headed right to Becca Cartmill. Cartmill at the top of the box. Left-footed kick kicked off of a Blue Streak defender. Fortino diving to keep it alive. Leaped and controlled it. She gets it to Bushy. Bushy over to Chloe Brown. Gets it to Fortino. Now Mara crosses towards right out front of the goal. That was a beautiful pass. No one could get a touch on it. But Fortino put it right out in front of the keep. And that ball was sitting there in the end zone, 5 yards in front of the goal with no one there to put it away. Fortino trying to get it to the same spot. This time it's knocked away by a defender. Kick towards Mariah Richards. Bailey Fisher applying some pressure. Played all the way to Claire Quinn after Semmelsberger stopped that initial push. Now Fortson has a steal. 2-on-2 the other way. Here come the Blue Streaks. And a pass that's going to just roll to Leach. Not what she was trying to do there. 33-15 left to go. Ball there at midfield as the rain continuing to pour off of the lights. Bartino steps in, kicks it away from Fortson, and it's going to roll to Leach. She'll blast it away. Spinning towards the 40 to net bounce away from Chloe Brown, and the Blue Streaks will control it again. Kicked up the field by the Blue Streaks. Up the far sideline is where they're going to attack this time. Dre Regroot. Pass goes nowhere. And that's going to stay in bounds, and no one is going after it. The ball just dies as it's wet turf. 32-02. Trying to see where this ball is. I think it's a throw-in coming. There it is. I didn't even see girl making the throw-in because of the rain. She was kind of in the shadows of the light post. As the rain still falling here, affecting visibility from up here. And the Blue Streak will move it towards the net now. Capital gets a steal. And their defense will now try to work this thing up the field. Monika Nike has it now with the rain still falling behind her. Played now to Chloe Brown. Brown gets it to Claire Quinn. Quinn to Chloe Brown. Pass down towards Bushy, but it's going to roll out of the back line for a goal kick. Two subs coming on. That is Kathy Connor and Allison Mirabeau. So Connor and Mirabeau announced, and now plays resumed as Mariah Richards collects it and stops a rush there from the Blue Streaks. 30 minutes left to go. 30 and 2 seconds to be exact. Morgan Austin up the far sideline. Austin had it kicked away from her out of bounds. Wind is picked up in the area now. Once again, it's been on and off windy, and getting a really windy section right now. Allison Mirabeau now kicks it towards number 19, Sarah Ruxtol, who kicks it away. Good job by the Blue Streaks of knocking it out of bounds, eliminating that threat. As I put my head down, pick it back up, and the rain has come down as hard as it's come down tonight. And the Doppler in front of me showing bright yellow in the area. Number 13 waiting to come on is Preston Mendel, the goal scorer for John Carroll. She'll be subbed in at the next dead ball. So I have to lower the window again with the rain coming in. Two to 1 Mount Union. Winners today against Wilmington on the men's side. Two ties as well. Baldwin Wallace tied Otterbein, and Heidelberg tied Marietta. Ohio Northern leads 2-0 still. Kicked away by Guinera as play resumes. Still no update on the Kent men's soccer game. We're assuming it's tied up with the lack of updates. Kicked forward towards Bushy, but it's going to be cleared away out of bounds. Getting the women's scores for you now as it's kicked by Bushy towards the box, headed away by the Blue Streaks, right to Chloe Brown, and she sends a field goal through the uprights. Going to be a goal kick coming. 6-0. Ohio Northern still out in front of Muskingum. Wilmington leads 1-0 over Mount Union and Otterbein, with Baldwin Wallace a 1-0 game there as well, as they've begun playing the second half. Crusaders resume play here, and the Blue Streaks get a steal and will try to cross midfield. They do on a pass towards Mendel. Mendel playing it forward for Fisher, and she tried to get it over to Ray Groot, and it's taken away by Bushy. I'm sorry, that's actually Morgan Austin and Chloe Brown working defensively there. Good defense. 27 minutes left to go in this one. Kick towards the box, headed high there by Maria Ploplis, a defender for the Blue Streaks, and it'll be a goal kick, which will be taken by Claire Quinn. Played forward again by the Crusaders. Some back and forth action. Nice turn and go move there by Preston Mendel. Mendel played it towards the box. Richards knocks it away. Mendel dancing around now. And a sliding stop by Semmelsberger doesn't make the play. And now a diving tackle by Austin does punch it loose. And here come the Crusaders. 3-on-3 the other way. It's on the foot of Becca Cartmill. Cartmill with Haneik to her right. Mervaux to her left. Plays it to Haneik. She's onside. In the box. Haneik trying to play it away from the keeper, Guinera. And it's going to be a goal kick, as she was just trying to play it away from the keep so she could pass it back into the box. And after that exciting play, the Crusaders will have to go back on the defense with the goal kick. Still a stoppage here on the play as a Crusader, I think it's tying her shoe. I'm not sure if that's the stoppage. I think it was, as Haneik was still trying to get ready. Blue Streaks trying to work this thing up the field, and they go out of bounds. The Crusaders will now take over, and they send a ball through the John Carroll side of the field, out the back line, and another goal kick quickly coming. Guinera kicks it up the field and got way under that punt, actually. Haneik keeps it in play. Kathy Connor running it down. Quinn, actually, the one who puts a touch on it, though. Mervaux popping it up in the air to herself. And that move somehow actually freed her up for a second there. Blue Streaks working hard defensively. After that free kick goal, we really haven't seen any quality looks on either side. 23:40 left to go. And a 2-1 lead for the Crusaders. Haneik plays it forward to Mervaux. Mervaux now to Cartmill. Cartmill down the field to Haneik. And actually, he's going to roll out of the back line. Looked like a good pass, but it just kept rolling. Some wet carpet on the field, pretty much, the way to describe it, with the turf. And a really slick surface, but the turf is actually able to hold rain pretty well. It's a good reason to have turf, as grass will just get cut up and muddy, but the turf will hold well, and we've seen that today. Mervaux just sends a shot on net, and that's an easy save. Haneik steps in for a steal, and then it's kicked away after it touches off her foot. Semmelsberger trying to play it now. Blue Streaks across the 30. This is Maria Ploplis. Ploplis, an outside back, looking to cross it. Bushy defending it well. Her cross goes off of Bushy, off of Ploplis then, and now a throw-in coming for Ploplis. Poplis standing back and waiting for a second here, and now we'll throw it in. It's just outside the box. Pass, a centering pass, and a shot towards the goal is going to curl to the left of the goal. Under 22 minutes left to go after that shot from Mendel. It's still 2-1, and a sub, Caroline Hester, gets her first action. She replaces Hanaik. So Hester's going to move to the outside back, which is where where Bushy had been playing. I'm sorry, she's actually in as a forward, which makes more sense. So we've seen Hester play center back, outside back, midfield, and now she's coming in as a forward with Chloe Brown in the midfield. An interesting alignment. Moved up the field. A blast that is knocked down nicely by Quinn. And it's going to lead to an odd man opportunity the other way for the Crusaders, but the pass handcuffs Mirvo and goes to the keep. Guevara scoops it up. And she'll do everything she can here. Cartmill now receives a pass. Working 2-on-1 the other way. Cartmill opening herself up in the box. Her shot goes off of a John Carroll player. Good defense there by Dana Roman, and it'll be a corner kick. Fortino checks back in now. Fortson checks back in for John Carroll. Here's the corner kick. Goes through the box, hits off of Hester's leg, and is cleared out of bounds. And the rain, I keep saying it's picked up as the worst it's been all night, but it is the worst it's been all night once again. And the rain just keeps getting worse and worse. And the rainfall numbers in the morning are going to be really interesting. Trying to see the action on the far sideline, but it's actually pretty tough to see what's going on down there. Looks like another throw-in is coming, and I think the Crusaders will have it. Sent into Cartmill. Cartmill to Connor. Pass gets knocked away. Richards will have to play it back. It's actually pretty incredible that the Crusaders do have this 2-1 lead, playing through the conditions, and this is a tough, grinded-out win that is going to test you for November when the weather's going to be bad in the NCAA tournament, which the team has hopes of going to. You're going to have to win in weather like this, and this is a game that coach can kind of draw back on and go, you know, guys, remember that game against John Carroll when we played in that terrible rainstorm? We came out and took care of business. Let's do that again tonight. That would be the message. Rain coming in through the windows. And passed up the field by John Carroll. Richards over to Cartmill. Cartmill. Scratch that. I'm sorry, that's Mary Bushy. Bushy back to Richards off of Connor now out of bounds. Throw in coming for John Carroll. 18 minutes left to go. Good defense by Brown, and Kathy Connor kicks it out of bounds. 17:20 left to go. Headed by Bushy out of bounds now. John Carroll trying to sustain something here. In terms of the live stats, 15 shots for the Crusaders, just 8 for John Carroll. 4 shots on goal, though, for Cap. Cartmill's up to 9 shots, by the way. Goal kick coming for the Crusaders. Claire Quinn kicks it off of Richards, and it goes out of bounds. So that backfired. So it blasted right off of Mariah Richards. John Carroll trying to get something going the other way. Allison Mervaux now has it. Mervaux putting it out in front of Caroline Hester, but it's going to go all the way to Guevara. Holy shnikes, this rain is not stopping. It's hard to see half the field right now. Kudos to the fans that came out to this game here at Bernlohr. This is a nasty weather for a senior night. But there's a ton of fans here, numerous umbrellas, and rain cuts out in full force. But credit to the fans for always supporting the Crusaders athletics. .41 left to go as action continues on that far sideline. John Carroll gets a steal. No whistles, play on. Couple of shots get knocked down by the Crusaders. And it's definitely starting to get to John Carroll as a couple players hit the ground. You see fatigue setting in for both sides. The wind has really picked up here. This is just awful weather. Coming to the sideline is Bushy. I think she's just trying to steal some water here on the throw-in. They're actually waiting for a timeout as a Crusader is injured. Clock is stopped at 15:18 and will step away for the injury. You're from a rainy Bexley, Ohio. You're listening to the Capital Sports Network. And welcome back to Bernlohr Stadium. Bailey Fisher replaces the injured Blue Streak. 15:15 left to go. We're back in play. This is the part of the time. This is the time that I said that rain would kind of subside due to that radar that I was checking out, but looks like that was not the case, as it is coming down as hard as ever. And the wind has picked up. And it's really tough conditions out there in the field for John Carroll to try to come back and score. And it's lucky that the Crusaders struck when they did on that Claire Quinn free kick. They took advantage of that opportunity. And because of that, have been playing with a comfortable 1-goal lead right now for most of this half. Bushy tried to keep it in play. It's going to go out of bounds for a goal kick. And yeah, taking a look at the radar. And zooming in towards Bexley, this is the brunt of it. It's going to clear up probably right as this game ends, as the Columbus area is starting to get a little more clear, especially on the west side of Columbus. But anything within the inner belt, which is the 270 here, excuse me, the outer belt, the 270, pretty much covered in rain right now, especially downtown Columbus moving towards Bexley. But like the Grandview Heights area is starting to clear up, and that's what's moving directly in this direction, down I-70. So if you're familiar with the Columbus area, you'll know that the rain is kind of settling here. And again, we urge anyone that knows anyone here at the Bernlohr Stadium, any of the fans, tell them to be extra careful driving home. 13:15 left to go. Bushy throws it up the field. Another collision. We've seen some Blue Streaks players dropping like flies, and frankly, they look like they're out of energy here. Having to withstand the rain, having to withstand the wind, having to battle back from trailing most of this game. The officials are actually drenched as well. All the players covered in water as well. And 12:40 left to go for the Crusaders to grind out again an ugly win. Fortino sends it on net. Pops away from Guevara, but she's able to jump back on it. $12:20 left to go, and it's kicked out of bounds by Semmelsberger as the Blue Streaks start their rush. And would expect them to kind of spend more time now on the Crusaders side of the field, as the Crusaders probably playing back a little bit more now. But if they can get it on the other side of the field, you'll see them play more of a possession game as well. Try to bring it into the corner and just control it from there. Here's Brown trying to do just that. Mervaux giving chase now. Here comes Allison Mervaux, is able to pick it up, moving to the box. And Mervaux will just get off of the Blue Streaks and set up a corner kick, and this will kill plenty of time, as they'll have some 20 seconds or so to set this one up. Still waiting for this corner. And again, they've ran 20 seconds or so off this clock. Here comes the corner kick. Punched away by Guevara. And Connor will play it back to Semmelsberger. Man onto her right. She gets it away quickly. Connor. A cross sent in. And Guevara comes flying across and will make a sliding stop once again. 16 shots for the Crusaders, 8 for John Carroll, and that's the 2 saves now for Guanera. Make it 3, actually, excuse me. 2 saves for Kim Leach, trying to get the win here on senior night, as Cartmill, Hanaik, and Emily Kraus are waiting to check back in for the Crusaders. Blue Streaks having a little bit of a run here, and the Capital folds it in nicely, and they pack in the defense to get that ball away. Rain's starting to lighten up a little bit, as I expected, with the radar. And just in time for John Carroll to try to mount a comeback here. 10:02 left to go. It's on their defensive side of the field, however. Cross towards the goal. Guevara kicks it away. Connor chips it towards the goal, and it's going to go high and wide. Trying to bury it. Cartmill, Kraus, and Hanight come on, a fresh new offensive attackers. Brown and Mervaux come off, as does, I think that's Caroline Hester. Yep, that's Caroline Hester coming off as well. So they'll try to get dry under that tent on the Crusaders bench. 9:10 left to go, and it's kept in bounds momentarily by the Blue Streaks, and they're able to push it up the field. Good hustle there by Bailey Fisher, but it goes for naught as it's taken away later again. And Megan Tolner comes in now. She replaces Kathy Connor. And maybe a little bit of stalling here by Coach Ogden. But seconds are precious, and he's about 10 up there with that sub. Kicked out of bounds by the Blue Streaks. John Carroll will have a sub come on. That's their captain, Daniel Sharbaugh. And that's going to eat up some own time for the Blue Streaks as well. Morgan Austin with good defense, and she earns a throw-in. Whistles in a free kick for Capital. And anytime there's a free kick, they can take off about 10 seconds or so before they kick it back into play. They'd be smart to do that. Mountain Union has tied it up with Wilmington. They've got 24 minutes left to go there on the women's side. Ohio Northern still leads 2-0 on the men's side and 6-0 on the women's side. Otterbein still up on Baldwin Wallace, 1-0 as well. And that's the last we'll get for our updates before our post-game show. Stay tuned for an update of standings and tonight's action, as well as a brief summary of this one. Blue Streaks have it on Capital's side of the field as the rain picks back up. Blue Streaks battling the conditions and trying to tie this thing up, send it to overtime. And even a point for the Blue Streaks would be massive in this game. Like a loss, pretty much meaning they have to have a perfect week next week and still might have to get some help to creep into the OAC tournament, which will be taking place the first week of November. Crusaders blasted up the field, and it is recovered by the goalkeeper Leach. 6:10 left to go. I think Ogden's content with the 11 he has out there. Kraus trying to run it down. She does. Plays it to Cartmill, right back to Kraus. Cartmill goes down. She was tripped. No whistles as Kraus continues to dribble it up the field. Knocked away from her, and the Blue Streaks work it up the field now. Richards headers it forward. Played on the ground now by John Carroll. Katie O'Donnell has it. O'Donnell. Nice move on Bushy, putting her on skates, but Richards is there to back her up. And Bushy will now play it up the field out of bounds. 5:35 left to go. Thrown in by O'Donnell. And bumped out of bounds again by the Crusaders. Throw in, bounces into the box. It's down on the ground in the box. Richards sends it away. And the Crusaders packing it in, not allowing anything. And a nice job by Bushy to kick it off of O'Donnell to earn the throw in for the Crusaders. Bushy will sit on it a few seconds and now throw it into Hanike. Stolen by John Carroll. Bushy trying to steal it right back. Nice moves from O'Donnell. She sends a shot towards the goal. It gets blocked and deflected towards the goal anyway. Austin rolls it forward. Pass goes back to Austin. She tries to work it over to the player that sent it her way. I think that was Chloe Brown. And it goes out of bounds. .421 left to go. It was actually Cartmill working with her defensively there. Into the box for John Carroll. Going along that baseline, and Leach scoops it up. With 4:02 left to go. Just 4 minutes left for the Crusaders to hang on and clinch a first round bye in the OAC tournament. And they would be within one win of clinching the OAC regular season title and the #1 seed in the OAC tournament. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. 3:38 left to go. Headed forward, kicked away. Morgan Austin trying to kick that one away from Bailey Fisher, but Fisher's able to control it and play it back to her defense. John Carroll kicks it up the field, kicked out of bounds there by Claire Quinn, who's been the best player on the field, I would say, today for the Crusaders. Her and Becca Cartmill right in that conversation. Each have a goal today. But they've been doing things other than the goal scoring that leads me to say that. Claire Quinn's been fantastic defensively. Cartmill doing a great job of getting high volume of shots up. Maddie Fisher comes in now. She replaces Molly Zool. 2:45 left to go and counting. Cartmill still working to get it up the field. Keep it on this end of the field and John Carroll can't score. That's simple. Cartmill could cross this. Instead passes it to Kraus. Kraus knifing through and it's kicked out of bounds, setting up a corner kick for the Crusaders. And Quinn will saunter over. And again, she can take her sweet time here. 2:15 left to go. Crusaders could cross into the box, or they could try to just conservatively pass it back and forth in the zone. And without them bringing their entire defense up, this might be what they do here. They're going to cross it in. Not a lot of Crusaders in the box. Kraus is able to get a touch on it. It sneaks away from Guevara, and great defensive recovery from some of her defensive teammates there. And a goal kick coming. It snuck away from Guevara after that kick from Kraus. And a fantastic job by Maddie Fisher, who just checked into the game, to poke that thing away at the last second from out in front of the goal. A Crusader was trying to get a rebound in there. 90 seconds left, and a 2-1 lead for the Crusaders, trying to close this thing out. Leach kicks it forward. Didn't get a lot under it. Stolen back by the Blue Streaks. Setting up a kick. It's going to get deflected, and Leach will catch it out of the air. That one hit off of Semmelberger. Leach will sit on it for a few seconds, and now punts it as far as she can. Fortino trying to control it. She will. She has time. Plays it forward. Hanike has Cartmill on the other side of the field, but instead try to just roll it deep into the John Carroll territory. Blue Streaks coming the other way now. 56 seconds left to go. Headed up in the air. That time by Fortson, and it's cleared away by the Crusaders again. Controlled by Kraus, and it's called offsides. 42 seconds, and the Blue Streaks have to get something going. They kick it across. Fortson playing it forward. Kicked away again by Bushy at midfield now. Look at Blue Streaks playing it back into the zone. Aggressive play as Sharbaugh goes down. Fortino is called for the foul. And time is now being stopped with 21.2 seconds. As Fortino was trying to stand in the way of that ball. Ball is spotted at the 46-yard line. Keeper's coming out of net for the Blue Streaks. Headed away by Cap. 13 seconds left to go. Kraus just plays it forward as far as she can. 9 seconds left to go. She has Cartmill cutting. Kraus with 5 seconds just dribbling into the box, sends a shot, and that's going to be the end of this one. Senior night of success for the Crusaders. They hang on to win 2-1, and the Crusaders also clinch a first-round bye in the OAC tournament coming up in just a few weeks. Coming up the first week in November, I should say. We'll step away for a short break and wrap this thing up. You're listening to the Capital Sports Network. Well, I promised a short break, and it was a short break as the Crusaders hang on to win 2-1, improve to 7-0 in conference play, 11-4 overall. John Carroll falls to 4-11-2, 2-4-1 in conference play. Your other scores, as of right now across the women's slate, Ohio Northern wins 6-0 over Muskingum. With 5 minutes left to go, Mount Union leads Wilmington 2-1, and at the 65th minute, Otterbein 1, Baldwin 1. On the men's side, Muskingum now trails Ohio Northern 4-0. 2-1 Mount Union winners earlier today. Heidelberg tied Marietta 1-1, and Baldwin Wallace tied Otterbein 2-2. And that John Carroll and Capital men's game, we still don't really have any update. All we know is the men's bus caught on fire, and they had to walk to the stadium, and they made it just fine. And that's all we know. In terms of the standings now, on the women's side, Capital moves to 7-0, and they've clinched at least a first round bye. They'll be at worst a 2 seed. The only way they can not be the 1 seed is if they lose or tie in each of their next 2 games. If they win either of the next 2, they will be the conference champs. If they tie, Ohio Northern can pass them with 2 victories. If they tie one of the games and lose one of the games, Ohio Northern would still have to win one of their next 2 games. Even if they tie both of them, Ohio Northern would have to win one of their next 2 games. So they clinch it with 2 losses from Ohio Northern. Obviously, ties kind of complicate the situation, but simply enough, Capital wins, they'll be in. There's some other situations in which they can be that number 1 spot as well, but I'm sure Coach will just tell them to take care of business. In terms of John Carroll, the loss is really a bad loss for them, as they fall to just 2-4-1, 7 points, tied right now for 7th, but Wilmington is leading by last count over Mount Union, which would put Wilmington at 10 points, Mount Union at 9, and Mount Union would be the last spot in. Heidelberg also has 9 points, and John Carroll would have 7. So they'll be 2 back of that last spot and clinging to their playoff hopes. They'll also be just 3 points back of the 5th spot. Ohio Northern likely going to be a top 2 seed as well with the way things shaked out tonight, and Otterbein and Baldwin Wallace likely the 3 and 4 seeds respectively. So getting a much clearer picture. And if you join us for the broadcast of the men's game on Wednesday, all the women's games this week during the week are on Tuesday, so we'll have updated standings with just 1 game left to go. It'll be really clear who's going to be what seed on the women's side. For the men, again, John Carroll and Capital, we don't have any update on that game, but John Carroll's currently at 2 seed, 2 points ahead of Capital. So if Capital is able to sneak a win tonight, they'll move into a top 2 seed. If not, worst case scenario, Capital will have 13 points, and they lead that last spot over Mount Union by 4 points, which means they clinch a playoff spot with a win. In terms of getting that first round bye, they'd pretty much have to win tonight against John Carroll after Ohio Northern won. They move up to 5 points ahead of Capital and have a tiebreaker on that. So that John Carroll game, if Capital wants a first round bye, they're going to have to win it tonight. If they lose tonight, still have their eyes on that first round home game, which would be a 3 or 4 seed. They'll have a 2-point edge on Otterbein right now and a 3-point edge on Marietta. They play Baldwin Wallace next week as well as Heidelberg, and they're currently tied with Heidelberg for 3rd. So winning that game could also pretty much guarantee them a home game in the first round. So we'll keep an eye on both of those. Again, your next broadcast will be Capital Men's Soccer as the women's schedule in the regular season done here with a successful senior night. And our next broadcast will be at 7 p.m. on Wednesday the 28th against Heidelberg in a battle for likely the 3 seed, but maybe with a win tonight, the Crusaders will be trying to lock up home field as well. First round bye clinched with the win tonight for the Crusaders, and they'll go on the road this week to try to lock down the first regular season conference title under head coach Matt Ogden here in his first year. As they look to three-peat in the OAC tournament as well, they will be there in the first week in November, and we'll have that broadcast for you as well here on Capital Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in today. Cartmill and Claire Quinn, the goal scorers for the Crusaders, as they move to 7-0 in conference play. Have a good night and stay safe out there here in the Ohio area. You're listening to the Capital Sports Network. Thank you very much, and hope to hear you on Wednesday as well when the men take on Heidelberg. Good night, everybody.